Hey, remember the good old days when this was your best bet to meet someone new?
He's cute.
Well, thank God times have changed. If you're single and looking to mingle, well, chances are you've turned to the internet, or at the very least you've thought about it, or you've thought about it and done it and just pretended you've only thought about it. You see, online dating isn't just for social outcasts anymore. It seems everybody is trolling the web for love, or a reasonable facsimile. And a ton of sites have popped up to help you find it. You got your Match.com, Lava Life, eHarmony. If you only want to date people of your own kind, you got JDate. Or you can be Christian, or cheaters, or millionaires. Hell, even people with sexually transmitted infections have their own site. In all, online dating sites rake in roughly $1 billion a year. That's a lot of money. And perhaps the biggest success of them all is a little site called plentyoffish.com. That's got 10 million users and more than 1.5 billion page views a month. Plenty of Fish has become the most heavily trafficked dating site in Canada, America, and the United Kingdom. So what's the attraction? Well, it's simple. It's free. It's free and it's quick and easy to join. And also, it ain't that flashy. It's pretty straightforward. That business does $10 million a year, and that's made the site's creator and sole operator a very rich man. He's a 30-year-old dude from Vancouver named Markus Frind, and he's become a bit of a star. Everybody, please say hello to Markus Frind. Thanks for coming on. It's really good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So as we saw, Plenty of Fish has just kind of taken off in a way I suspect you couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I was just doing it, so I didn't have to go to a new job, learn a new programming language. It was like I built it one day and it blew up, and then had 40,000 people the first year, and then 400,000 the second. It just
You built it one day, so you were trying to learn a new language, like a web language, I guess, to design sites, and just as a side project, you're like, well, I'm going to make a dating site.
Well, it was like a dating site. It was the hardest thing I could think of making. So I just sat down. It took me about 2 weeks to write the whole thing, and then people started signing up. And
how'd they find out about it?
It was pretty much word of mouth. It's Toronto and Vancouver really took off, and it sort of spread to the rest of the world from there.
We got a lot of lonely people here in Toronto. And Vancouver, it's the gray rain, and over here it's the February's, right? We need something. That's where we
Definitely.
go. But if you just sort of designed it to learn this, I suspect you didn't envision running a dating site. When did you think, oh, wait a minute, this is now what I do?
When it started making money.
How long in did it start making money?
Well, the first few months, it didn't make any money because there's no way of really making money from it. But then about 4 or 5 months later, Google AdSense came out and you're able to make money from it. So I threw it up, and within the first 30 days, it made $1,000. I was like, awesome.
Well, and I think a lot of people thought that Google AdSense, you couldn't make money off that. Right? A lot of people just thought that was sort of a fallacy.
Yeah, a lot of people think a lot of things. But if you have volume, you can make money no matter what you're doing online.
Dude, I heard you got $1 million check from them or something from somebody, and no one believed you, so you had to take a picture to prove it. Is that true?
Well, yeah. Basically, no one believed it, but at the same time, it was like, everyone in the industry knows you're making this much money because it's just simple math. Like, right. You have this many pages, and you get so much money per page. You just add it up.
How many dates this year do you think people are going to go on because of Plenty of Fish?
About 18 million.
Wow. How many of them are second dates? Do we know? Because that's the real key.
The average person does about 2 dates.
Really?
Yeah, and then they need about 3.8 dates for a relationship.
Well, and and like 3.8 dates.
That's right.
I'm way off the mark.
You haven't been on there long enough.
I haven't been on at all. I don't have an account on that, but maybe I should.
I'm sure all the girls would love that.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't. But thank you for saying that. Is there a trick? I mean, dating sites, obviously there's lots of dating sites, and one of the things that separates yours is I think it's very simple, right? It's not very flashy, it's just here it is. It's also free, which I think helps. But are there tricks to being a more effective user of a site like yours?
Basically, it comes down to there's both the user and the site. So the site has to make it so that you match up with people that you're actually going to like and date. So there's that aspect. Women, for the most part, are not going to date someone shorter than them. So don't short them, shorter people. That makes a huge impact. And then daters, they should go out and meet someone right away. The longer you wait, the less chance. Like, there's no point in waiting like 2 months and building up this huge fantasy.
Right.
If you could just go out, like, that night, go to a coffee shop, whatever.
Unless it's a super hot fantasy, then you have to, kind of play. Are the things that, like, men lie about their height, don't they? On any site, a lot?
Pretty much, and women lie about their weight.
Their weight. well, sure, I get that. Who are the main users of your site? I mean, obviously 18 million dates means a lot of people are using it, and it's clearly reaching people who, I think it's great because people can, any site that connects somebody to somebody else, why not, in a legal way. But can you get a sense of who's really using your site more, where your biggest growth is? Like what part of the population?
Well, the biggest growth is the 45 plus. The average age is 39. But there's also, a huge number of people in their 20s using it. There's just not as many people from the ages of 20 to 30 as there are from 30 to 50.
Right. You would bring, and I mean this sincerely, there are people who don't get the chance to meet people, in an environment that they're comfortable with. Because bars, they suck to meet people, and for the most part, you can't talk to a stranger on the streetcar because they'll call the cops. And often they should. You walk up to a girl in downtown Toronto and say, hey, what are you doing? She runs, right? And so what your site does is actually bring people together, and dating sites like this bring people together. And I wonder if you get, letters from people who say thank you, or you introduce me to, like, those kind of really heartfelt, life-changing interactions with some of the people who use it.
We do about 800,000 relationships a year, and I see, I lost track after tens of thousands of marriage testimonials, and just people sending in their pictures, and like, I had kids. Or one story I really remember well is, this is totally random, but they went to Vegas, and they had to decide on an Elvis wedding.
Wicked. Love them already. Let me guess, wasn't their first wedding, right?
No, it was.
Wow.
And they broadcast it, and they, and then like an hour or two later, they sent me an email, and they're like, you'll never guess what, there was another couple right before us from Plenty of Fish who did the exact same thing.
Wow. When I read interviews about you, you seem to be having a good time with it, and the fact that you make a ton of money, you do almost no work on it anymore, and you just sort of sit back and enjoy life. Is that what it's like?
For the most part, starting to do a little more work now. It's getting too big, and I need to because it grows so much, you always have to prepare for the next phase of growth, and it's going to be huge now.
During an economic downturn as such, the one we're in, more or fewer people on your site?
There's always more. Its growth has slowed somewhat, but it's still booming like crazy. So it's different demographics use it more. They use it at different amounts of time, but overall it's about the same. I mean, my site is growing 100% year over year every year for the past 3-4 years.
And it's a fully private company?
Yep.
It's all you?
Yep.
Well, where does internet dating go? Like, what's the next step of, MySpace was one thing, then Facebook made it far more personal. Even before all that stuff, you had Friendster and Love Life and things like that. Twitter is even weirder. Now it's just like, here's a thought. It's just like, share your thoughts with me. Where does internet dating go? What's the next step of that?
I think it's the free sites like I'm doing, and I think the reason I think that is because it's all about hooking up people and being as fast and efficient as possible. And the paying sites, they say they have 12 million members, but at any given point in time, there's only about 2% that pay out of their total membership. So, if you message someone, only 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 20 is actually paying, so they can message you back. Then there is Facebook and MySpace, which are very casual, but they're not really dating sites. So I think it's the most efficient and effective way at the end of the day wins out.
That's cool. Plentyfish.com is the website. It's great to have you on the show. Thanks for coming in. Markus Frind, everybody. Right on. All right, stick around. We will be right back.